Peace. It's Negro Titian. I want to talk to y'all today about the understanding of what witchcraft is and what spiritual attack is. A lot of people don't really get it. A lot of people think that, they can be what they want to be on the internet, in the spiritual community. They think they can work in the spiritual realms behind people's backs and do all this other weird shit against other spiritualists. And then they fuck around and find out. And the reason I'm saying this is because what you have to understand is witchcraft can affect you in a way where you don't even know you're being affected. You have to be so in tune with the spiritual realm in order to be up on everything that you're doing spiritually, to notice and be aware of every little nuance that has changed in your reality, which goes against your desires or against your will. And if you're not, you can get caught slipping. Especially when you're dealing with certain type of spiritualists, certain type of sorcerers and warlocks and brujos and things of that nature. You know what I mean? Priests, whatever you want to call them. You know what I mean? Especially when you're dealing with certain types of them, right? Because everybody's not going to be so obsessed over trying to destroy you. A person may say, oh, he pissed me off, she pissed me off, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, put them in the pot. They're going to move on with their life. They're not going to do no extensive spell to make sure your life goes to hell and all this other crazy shit. They're not going to do all that. They're just going to do one little thing and then they're going to keep it moving. Because usually they got a job or they got something going on else in their life where they don't have the time to focus on you like that. They just going to trust in their spirits to be able to take care of whatever the fuck you did to piss them off or something like that. And so most people do not even understand, it takes them a long time to really know that they have witchcraft on them. And what witchcraft is effectively is it's the attachment of a spiritual energy, and spiritual only in the sense that it is imperceivable by the physical eyes, because nothing is really spiritual. Everything is in a perpetual state of vibration, including our physical bodies are at a perpetual state of vibration. Now, what we consider to be spirits are just energetic signatures like ourselves that exist on a higher frequency or a higher vibration. And if our mind is not attuned to that vibration, then we can't perceive them. This is why we call it extrasensory perception, in order to perceive outside of this particular dimension or this particular vibration. So these spiritual entities that are attached to individuals through ritual, begin to affect, they attach themselves to the aura. Now, you know that the aura is an energetic field that actually extends 12 inches from the body. So what the spirit does is it comes and attaches itself to that. And as it attaches itself to that, it starts to siphon energy into the other bodies that constitute who you are as a human being until it affects you, effectively trying to affect your mind and affect what you think and affect your emotions and what you feel, right? And so if you're not aware of yourself, if you're not conscious of yourself, if you don't look at yourself and say, wait a minute, that's not my normal behavior. I don't normally feel like that all day, every day. I don't, behave in this way every day, all day, every day. What's triggering me? What's causing me to do that, right? And if it becomes a actual thing that you actually deal with, even if it wasn't witchcraft attacking you, and you notice that it's starting to happen more and more, then you might say, okay, well, damn. Because people that know how to do witchcraft on you will study you and will understand what triggers you. And then that is what we will send the spirit to attack, is what we know is your weakest point. If we know that your weakest point is your ego, you always worry about what people think about you, then I'm going to send the spirit to attack that aspect of you to cause you to fuck up, so that every time people look at you, they look at you in disgust or they look at you in a certain way. Now, I'm not doing that to anybody. I'm just saying that that's what a real warlock, a real sorcerer would do. Okay, so most people do not know that they actually have entities attached to them simply because the entity is working through your personality. And because you accept that that is the personality that you are, you're not, when a person say, man, you got something on you, you're gonna be, man, I ain't got shit on me. What the fuck you talking about? You know what I mean? Like, you're gonna be talking, you're gonna be thinking in that way because you're like, man, this who I am. This how I am. Shit, you said what you said, you did what you did, you walked the bam, and then to come back where it's like, damn, but that part of you is being manipulated. And all the time, the spirit does not need to know. The spirit, you don't need to tell the spirit to attack that part of the person. The spirit will automatically find the weakest part, the most vulnerable part of your character, the most vulnerable part of your health, the most vulnerable part of your life, and it will attack that. Okay? And so you have to be very aware. And now it's becoming a day and time where many people need to start getting regular readings done by an authentic spiritualist who has at least 10 years in the game and they know what the fuck they doing. Like, other than that, you need to just leave it alone. But you need to go and start getting readings done like regularly. You need to get readings done regularly because you got to stay on top of your spiritual health. It's now becoming like we worry about our physical health. We worry about if we got muscles. We worry about if we eating vegan. We worry about all this. But we don't consider or think about our spiritual health on a regular basis. We always think about spiritual health whenever spirituality comes to mind. But we don't think about spiritual health as an actual part of our lifestyle and a part of our culture. And when we do think about spiritual health, it's watered down. What do? We go to church, right? Or we go to the mosque, or we go to the synagogue, or whatever, and we pray to things outside of ourselves. Even though in Ifa and all the African traditional religions, you can consider that these things are outside of yourself, but they're directly connected to your Ori. And when your Ori speaks to them, they do things that your physical body cannot do for you at this very moment. Okay? So they become extensions of your will. These entities or these forces, these pots, these spirits, these orishas, and everything are nothing more than extensions of the priest, the priestess, the warlock, the magician, the witch, whatever the hell you want to call yourselves these days. It's just, those spirits are just extensions of your will. Okay? They're not to be worshipped like a god over you. The human being is the most complete entity in the universe. There's nothing higher than the human being. The human being is composed of all four elements plus ether, the spirit, earth, air, fire, and water. And we're not talking about earth, air, and fire, water that is found on the earth. That's found on, Ile Aye, not the physical earth. We're talking about cosmic or astral spiritual forces that constitute the very spiritual makeup of what we are as consciousness. And that makes us highest in the universe. Okay? I can get into a whole nother conversation about extraterrestrials and shit that kind of build on what I'm talking about, but I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to digress. But my point is that these entities are extensions of our willpower. This is why when we go before the Inganga, we go before the Sopera, we go before the shrine, we go before these things, the altar, whatever, and what do? We concentrate on what we want and then we project it, and we may project it through our mouth, or we may project it through our mind, and we may think. We may project it through our emotions. Some people go before the altar, they may cry, to their spirits, pouring out their heart's desires, like, man, can you help me with this? Can you fix this? Can you do this? Can you do that? So there are different ways that we exert our willpower, and that is how we end up sending out that spirit based on what information we give the spirit at the time that we go before that particular shrine. If we speak your name, and we speak certain information about you, then the spirit is going to know who you are and know that you're the problem, and they're going to go to you. Okay? Or they're going to know that this is the person that we're trying to heal, this is the person that we're trying to help, and they're going to go to you based on the information that we collect from you during the reading, and then we project that into the corpus of what constitutes that particular spirit, and then that spirit will go out the way that we send it out through ritual, whether it be through song, whether it be through chants, whether it be whatever the hell we use to send it out. I mean, you got traditions on top of traditions on top of traditions. Everybody got a song, a chant, a prayer, something that they say to these spirits, you know what I mean, to get them to move, to get them to act. So whatever you say, whatever we say, depending upon what tradition that we are actually practicing at that particular moment, somebody like me who's initiated in multiple traditions, I may not always be practicing one tradition over the other when it comes to me helping you. And so, but those people, whatever it is, they're going to do that, and they're going to attach that energy to you. Okay. And once that energy is attached to you, it's going to begin to affect the energy of your life. It's going to begin to affect the energy of your life in one way or another. And unless you are an individual who has the ability to tap into fully conscious into the universal mind through trance and put yourself in a super conscious trance where you can direct this reality by your mind and your consciousness alone, that spirit is going to be able to affect you. The end of this video is basically, the message is anybody can get hit. It don't matter what you've been crowned to. It don't matter if you a Babalawo. It don't matter if you a Palero. It don't matter if you a Kimbandero. It don't matter if you a Voodoo Song. It don't matter if you a Mambo. It doesn't matter if you're an Obia man or Obia woman. It does not matter. If you are not fully attuned to the spiritual world to stay on top of your spiritual reality or your spiritual universe, you can get hit. Everybody gets hit at one point or another. Now, how bad you get hit depends upon how well you take care of your spirits, how well you take care of your ori, and how well you take care of yourself. And that will determine how bad you get hit. For example, somebody may send a car accident at you, and then you go to the grocery store and you back up and you just have a little bumper fender bender with the car next to you, but it's nothing major. Nobody's car is hurt. Nobody's physically hurt. But hey, the spirit did what it wanted you to do. It wanted you to have a car accident. That's what you had. That's because of the type of protection that you have over you. Now, people who are out here butt naked with no protection, they may end up in a whole type of different situation. You know what I mean? So that's what I mean when I say everybody can get hit. It just depends upon how well you take care of your spirits, how well you take care of your ori, and how well you take care of yourself. That determines how you get hit. But that's witchcraft, right? And that's spiritual attack, right? That's how it's going to come at you. That's how it's going to work on you. Understand these things, because if you don't, you might just fuck around and find out. Lado ye.